In this cold gray water, behind a curtain of stone, something is waking up that should not exist. She has 3 hearts. Her blood is blue. She has no bones at all. She can pour her entire body through a hole the size of her own eye. She can taste with her skin. She can vanish against stone in less than a second. She has the largest brain of any animal without a backbone, and most of it is not in her head. She is one of the strangest minds that has ever evolved on this planet, and she has, at most, 1 year to live. This is her life, all of it. She has almost nothing hard in her entire body. No skeleton, no shell, no spine. Only one hard part exists in all of her. A small, sharp beak, hidden at the center of her arms, shaped like a parrot's. Everything else about her can bend, stretch, and squeeze. If her beak can fit through a gap, the rest of her can follow. There is no door in this reef she cannot open by becoming the shape of it. Inside that boneless body, 3 hearts are beating. 2 of them push her blue blood through her gills to load it with oxygen. The 3rd sends it out to the rest of her body. And when she swims, that 3rd heart stops. Swimming exhausts her because her main heart cannot beat while she does it. So she would almost always rather crawl. An animal that finds swimming tiring and crosses the seafloor anyway. Your blood is red because it carries oxygen on iron. Hers carries it on copper. Copper turns her blood blue. Copper blood carries oxygen poorly compared to iron and works best in cold water. It is part of why her life runs fast and brief and close to the edge. To understand her, you have to go back to the very start. Before the den, before the reef, before she had a single thought of her own. She began as one speck among hundreds of thousands. A clear dot of life the size of a grain of rice, drifting in open water, with no bottom beneath her and no shelter anywhere. This is the most dangerous time in an octopus's life. Almost none of them survive it. Out of every 100,000 that hatch, almost all are eaten in the first weeks. 1 or 2 reach the bottom and grow up. She was one of them. Everything she becomes is built on that impossible luck. For weeks she drifts, growing, hunting specks even smaller than herself, hiding inside her own transparency. And then, one day, the open water is no longer where she belongs. She falls out of the blue and onto the reef. From this moment, she will almost never leave the bottom again. The first time her arms touch the reef, something switches on. She begins to taste the world and to wear it. And she begins to grow, faster than almost anything her size in the sea. She can double her weight in a matter of weeks. She is burning through a whole life at high speed, because she does not have long, and some part of her already knows it. By the time she is grown, she has a reef to learn, a body that breaks every rule, and a mind unlike anything else down here. This is the best camouflage of any animal on Earth. Not good, the best. Her skin is covered in millions of tiny bags of color, each one pulled open or shut by its own ring of muscle. She can repaint her whole body in 1/3 of a second. And it is not just color. She pushes her skin up into spikes and fronds and ridges, matching the exact texture of coral, stone, and weed. She does not hide near the reef. She becomes a piece of it. A predator can swim straight over her and see nothing but rock. Here is the strangest part. To do all of this, perfectly, she should need to see color. And she cannot. She is, as far as we can tell, completely colorblind. A colorblind animal matching colors flawlessly. We think she may, in part, see with her skin itself. Even with her eyes shut, her body still knows what color to be. Now, the mind. And to understand her mind, you have to give up the idea that a brain is one thing in one place. She has a central brain, wrapped around her throat, behind her eyes. And then she has 8 more. One large knot of nerves running down every single arm. 2/3 of her nerve cells are not in her head. They are in her arms. Each arm can taste, decide, and act largely on its own, while she thinks about something else entirely. An arm can find food in a hole and start to bring it back before her central brain even knows it is there. She does not fully command her arms. She negotiates with them. A severed octopus arm, for a while, will still reach, still grip, still recoil from danger, all on its own. She is not one mind in a body. She is something closer to a council of 9 that has learned to move as one. Look at the underside of a single arm. It is lined with suckers. A large octopus carries around 2,000 of them. Each sucker can move on its own. Each one can grip hard enough to hold against a current, then soften and let go an instant later. They can twist, pull, and turn things over, and every one of those suckers can taste. She does not need to put something in her mouth to know what it is. She knows the moment she touches it. She explores the world by flavor. So when she reaches into a dark crack she cannot see into, she is not feeling around blindly. She is reading it. Is it crab or stone? Is it food, or is it the smooth skin of something that eats octopus? She knows before she has fully reached it. Touch and taste, in her, are the same sense. A body that tastes everything it holds. It is no wonder she is so curious, because she is curious. Genuinely, restlessly curious, which is rare in the sea, and rarer still in an animal this short-lived. Some octopuses carry coconut or clam shells across open ground tucked under the body, and snap them shut into a shelter when they need one. They are carrying tools to use later, planning ahead, with a brain nothing like yours. In captivity, they open screw-top jars, from the inside. They solve mazes. They take apart whatever they are given, methodically, to see how it works. And they remember. They can recognize individual human faces, telling apart two people who are dressed identically, and treat them differently for weeks afterward. The kind one, and the one who was not. They play, pushing a toy into a current just to watch it come back, again and again, for no reward at all, in a mind that evolved entirely apart from ours. We may never know what it is like to be her. Every octopus needs a home, and she chooses hers carefully. A crevice in the rock, a gap under a boulder, something with one narrow entrance she can defend, and a space inside just large enough to fold herself into. Then she remodels it. She carries stones and shells to the entrance and builds a wall, pulling it closed behind her like a door. She rearranges her home to suit herself. Outside the door, there is always a sign that an octopus lives here. A small graveyard of cracked crab shells and emptied clams, the leftovers of every meal dropped at the threshold. Divers learn to find octopuses by looking for the rubbish pile at the door. Inside, folded into the dark with one eye toward the entrance, she rests through the bright hours. She is waiting for the light to drop. As the day dims toward evening, she comes out to hunt. This is her time, the low light, when she can see and most things cannot see her. She does not chase. Chasing is for animals that can be seen. She flows over the reef like moving stone, reading every hole with her arms as she passes. When she finds prey, she does not grab at it. She spreads the web between her arms into a net and drops her whole body over the reef like a closing umbrella. Everything underneath is suddenly inside her. Crabs, clams, snails, small fish, whatever the reef is hiding. A clam that will not open is no problem. She drills a neat hole through the shell with a rasping tongue and delivers paralyzing saliva inside. Then she waits for it to relax and open itself. She is venomous. Every octopus is. Hers is for crabs and clams, not for you. But it makes her, quietly, one of the most efficient hunters on the whole reef. Hunting is only half of staying alive. The other half is not being hunted. And almost everything bigger than her would happily eat her. When camouflage fails, she has a faster answer. She fills her body with water and blasts it out through a single nozzle, and she rockets backward through the sea. Jet propulsion, built into her body. She aims that nozzle to steer. It is the fastest she ever moves, and it costs her because her main heart has stopped to let her do it. So she saves it for emergencies. And she carries ink. When something lunges, she fires out a cloud of it. Not a smokescreen, but a decoy. A dark shape, about her size, that hangs in the water and holds its form. The hunter bites the ghost. She, meanwhile, has gone pale, gone silent, and gone the other way. The ink even dulls a predator's sense of smell, so it cannot follow the trail of where she really went. She does not fight. She disappears and leaves a copy of herself behind to be attacked instead. When she cannot hide and cannot run, she has one more trick. She tries to look like something you should be afraid of. She flares her whole body out flat, turns dark, and flashes huge false eyes across her skin. In a heartbeat, she goes from invisible to enormous to terrifying. Often it buys her the half second she needs. And if something has caught hold of her, she can give it the arm. She detaches it on purpose. It keeps moving and keeps the predator busy, and she grows a new one back, nerves and all. Even with all of this, she lives on a knife's edge. Moray eels, big fish, dolphins, seals, diving birds, other octopuses. Her defense was never armor. She has none. Her defense is to be somebody else, instantly, and to never be found in the first place. A whole life spent 1 second ahead of being eaten, and she spends that whole life completely alone. She has never met her mother. She will never meet her father. She has no pod, no pack, no colony, no family of any kind. Most of the brilliant animals you know are social. Wolves, dolphins, elephants, crows. Their intelligence was built by living together. Hers was not. When two octopuses meet, it is usually a problem to be managed, not a reunion. They are not unkind, they are simply solitary, all the way down. Built to need no one. So everything she is, the curiosity, the problem-solving, the memory, the play, she does for no audience. There is no one to teach, no one to impress, no one to remember her. A mind as rich as almost any in the ocean, lighting up every night, in the dark, with no one there to see it. And she has so little time to use it, because the same thing that made her this clever is also what is going to kill her. An animal this intelligent should live a long time. Long lives are how intelligence pays off. More years to learn, to remember, to use what you know. She breaks that rule too. A common octopus lives only a year, perhaps 2. Even the giant ones rarely reach 5. She is one of the smartest animals in the sea, and one of the most short-lived. The reason sits in a small gland behind her eyes. It runs her life like a clock with the alarm already set. It does not let her grow old slowly. It is counting down to one single event. She will get exactly one chance to do the thing her entire body has been building toward. 1. She does not get to reproduce year after year the way long-lived animals do. She lives, she reproduces once, and she is done. Everything she has is spent at the end, all at once. The clock is running down now, and some part of her has started to listen to it. But before the end, there are still the ordinary days, and her ordinary days are quietly extraordinary. At first light she comes home, full from the night's hunt, and seals herself into the den behind her wall of stones. Through the bright hours she rests, folded into the dark, one eye on the doorway, her skin matched to the stone around her. Even at rest, her skin keeps moving, drifting through colors and patterns while she sleeps. Some scientists wonder if that means she dreams. We do not know. It is one more thing about her we cannot reach. As the light falls again, she opens her door and flows back out into the blue, to read every hole on the reef with her arms, exactly as she did the night before. Hunt in the dark, home at dawn, rest through the light, out again at dusk. A small, brilliant, secret life, repeated as many times as the clock will allow. And then, one season, the clock reaches the hour it was always set for. Something in her changes, and she leaves the safety of her routine to do the only thing she was truly built to do. She goes looking for a mate. For an animal that has spent its whole life avoiding others of its kind, this is a strange and dangerous errand. When she finds a male, they keep their distance. He does not embrace her. He reaches across the space between them with one special arm, and that is all the contact there is. For him, this is the end of everything. Males usually fade within weeks or months of mating. His body simply stops maintaining itself. He has done the one thing he was for. She carries what she needs now, and she begins to look for the last place she will ever live. She chooses a deep den, hidden and defensible, in the dark. She goes inside. From here on, almost nothing will make her leave it again. In the dark of that last den, she does the work of her entire life, all at once. She lays her eggs and braids them into long, delicate strands, and hangs them from the roof of the den like strings of glass beads. Tens of thousands of them, sometimes far more. She hangs them all around her until the whole den is curtained with her young, and she settles into the middle of them, and she begins to wait. And from this moment, she makes a choice that she cannot undo. She stops hunting. She stops leaving. She will not eat again. Every hour she pushes fresh water over them so they do not suffocate, and strokes them clean so nothing grows on them, and drives off anything that comes near. She does almost nothing else, ever again. This can last weeks. It can last many months. In the cold and the dark, it can last far longer than that. In the deep, cold ocean, scientists once watched one octopus guard her eggs for 4.5 years. She never left. She never ate. It is the longest any animal is known to have guarded its young. All that time, her own body is feeding the vigil. She is not starving by accident. She is spending herself, on purpose, gram by gram, to keep them alive. Her skin loses its color. Her body grows thin and soft. The brilliant mind dims. The great escape artist no longer tries to escape anything. There is nowhere she would rather be than here, in the dark, with them. And inside the strands, it is working. Tiny eyes appear in every egg, tiny arms, tiny hearts, 3 to a body, beginning to beat. Everything she is spending herself for is taking shape an inch from her eyes. She will not get to know a single one of them. She knows that, in whatever way she knows anything, she fans them anyway. This is not her tragedy. This is her purpose. This is the thing the whole strange, brilliant, boneless body was always for. And then, on the right night, in the dark, it happens. The eggs are ready. With the last of her strength, she blows hard across the strands, again and again, and helps her children tear free and lift away into the water. Hundreds of them, each a clear speck the size of a grain of rice, rising off the reef into the open water, exactly where she began, a lifetime ago. They drift up into the blue, into the most dangerous weeks of their lives, the way she once did. Almost none of them will make it. 1 or 2 might. And she watches the last of them go. The den is quiet now. The strands are empty. There is nothing left for her to guard, and almost nothing left of her. Her year is over. She spent every part of it, and she kept nothing back. She will not see them grow. She will never know which one survived. She leaves no pack to mourn her and no memory of her name, because she never had one. But somewhere out there, one speck did not get eaten. It grew. It fell out of the blue onto a reef of its own. And the first time its arms touched stone, the same thing switched on that once switched on in her. The curiosity. The colorblind skin that knows every color. The 9 minds learning to move as one. All of it, passed forward, in an animal that never met its mother. It will build a den and pile its shells at the door, and read every hole on the reef with its arms, and play in the dark with no one watching, for one short, brilliant year of its own. That is how she goes on, not for long, but completely and without holding anything back every single time. An animal that lives almost no time at all and somehow makes a whole life out of it. The light is going out of the water now. The reef is dimming from blue to gray to black. The crabs have gone still in the sand. The fish have settled into the rocks. Somewhere down there, behind a small wall of carefully stacked stones, a den sits quiet, its work finished, its strands empty, the water moving slowly through it. And far above it, drifting up in the dark with the plankton, a few tiny specks are beginning the most dangerous and most ordinary journey there is. One of them might make it. That is all it has ever taken. 3 hearts, blue blood, 9 minds, no bones, 1 year. And inside that single year, everything, given away on purpose to the dark. Rest now. The sea is calm, the reef is asleep, and somewhere out in the dark water, her strange and brilliant life is already beginning again, one tiny drifting speck at a time. Sleep well.